Very good morning to all of you. I hope you are all doing good. As I told you that this series is completely dedicated to competitive exams like HSTR, GPSTR, KREIS and other competitive exams like SSC, banking and railways. So in the last session, we saw few rules regarding subject-verb agreement. So in this session also, we will see few more rules. So let's start the session. So rule number 9. Rule number 9, which is very important, few and little. Okay, what is the difference between few and little? Okay, let's try to understand few, little, a few and a little, the few and the little. Okay, so first we'll try to understand little. Little, as I said, i have I have little money. Okay, then I wrote I have a little money. Okay, and third, I have no the little money, the little money I have spent on spent on books. Okay, a little and the little. Okay, now little, I have little money. What does it mean? Little means almost nothing. It gives a negative sense. Okay, so when I say I have little money, it means I don't have anything. Okay, so it means zero. I have nothing. Okay, so little is used for uncountable noun. Okay, money is uncountable noun. It cannot be counted. Okay, we cannot count money, but under money we can count coins, rupees, currencies, we can count, but money is uncountable noun. Okay, so we use little with uncountable noun. So little gives a negative sense. Okay, it gives a negative connotation. Okay, but when I say a little, okay, when I am using article a, okay, I have a little money, it means it is a positive sentence. But I have little money, it is a negative sentence. Negative. Okay, but when I say I have a little money, it means though I don't have much money, but I have little money. Okay, it gives a positive, it is a positive sentence. Okay, just for example, I said I have a little money to buy my lunch. Okay, so it means I have some money, though it is not sufficient, but I have something so that I can buy my lunch. Okay, but if I say I have little money to buy my lunch, that is wrong because I have nothing, I don't have anything. Okay, so it is a negative sentence. I have little money. Now, the little. Okay, when I am using the article, okay, when I'm using the article, it means specific. Okay, it shows specific thing, like the little money I had spent on books means whatever money I had. So for example, I had only 500 rupees with me. Okay, and whatever I had with me I spent on books, so I have nothing, but it gives, again it is a positive sentence. Okay, the little money I had I spent on books. Okay, I hope it's clear the difference between little, a little and the little. Same way, few, a few and the few. Okay, few, a few and the few. Okay, for example, I wrote I have few friends. Few friends. Few is used with countable noun. Okay, when I said I have few friends, I it can be counted. Okay, we can count, but money, it is uncountable noun. So little will be used with uncountable noun and few will be used with countable noun, plural countable noun. Okay, I have a few friends. A few friends. Okay. Then I wrote the few friends she had were very loyal to me, were very loyal to her. Okay. Now, few. I have few friends. What does it mean? I have no friends. Okay. Again, it gives a negative meaning. Okay. Negative connotation means no friends. I am sad. Okay. I have no friends means I have nobody. Okay. So it gives a negative meaning. I am sad. I am not happy. Okay. When I say I have a few friends, it means I have one or two friends. Okay, not many friends I have, but I have like somebody. Okay, so it gives again a positive thing. Like I said, I have a little money. Again, it gives a positive feeling. Okay, positive. Okay, now the few friends she had were very loyal to her. Okay, so again, when I say the few friends means I'm talking about specific number of friends. Okay, whatever number of friends she had, they were very loyal to her. Okay, so I hope the difference is clear. What is the difference between little, a little, the little, few, a few, and the few? Okay, now let's try to understand with the help of examples. We will do few exercise with little or a little knowledge, he can solve the question. He can solve the question. Okay? With little or a little knowledge, he can solve the question. What will come here? See, here we need to see this second part. He can solve the question. It means he is able to solve the question, right? If we use little, little means he doesn't have any knowledge. So when he doesn't have any knowledge, how can he solve the question? So this is wrong. What it will come? A little. With a little knowledge, he can solve the question. Okay. Second, the show was the show was cancelled as a few as few or a few people people turned up to see it. Okay, the show was cancelled as few or a few people turned up to see it. What it will come? The show was cancelled, right? It is giving a negative sense, right? It is giving a negative meaning. Okay, so few means no one, right? If I say a few means like some people turned up. Okay, so here it will not, a few will not come, as few people turned up. Okay, third one, a little, a little, or the little milk, the little milk I had in the bottle, I had in the bottle turned sour, turned sour. Okay, a little or the little milk I had in the bottle turned sour. What it will come? A little or the little. I said the little will be used for the specific amount, okay, or specific thing. Okay, so here the little. Again, little will be used for uncountable noun. Okay, milk is what? Uncountable. Okay, so the little milk. Okay, I have a bottle and I had a little milk. Okay, a particular amount of milk I had. Okay, a particular quantity I have. Okay, and that also got turned sour. Okay, so we will not use a little. the little. Okay, when we talk about a specific thing, okay, or particular amount, okay, in that case what we will use? The little. Okay, I hope it's clear. Next one, little or few members attended the session. Okay, now here what we will use, little or few. As I said, little is used for uncountable noun, right? Here members we can count, right? So we will not use little. Few members attended the session. Next, as as I have little or a little experience, I can easily handle the project. Okay, as I have little or a little experience, I can easily handle the project. Now again, we should see the second part. I can easily handle the project. When I'm saying I can easily handle the project means I have some experience, isn't it? So when I have some experience means what we will use? A little, not little. Little gives a negative meaning. Means I do not have any experience. Okay. So I hope this part is clear. The difference between little and few. Okay, now let's do the next rule, which is unless and until. Rule number 10, unless and until. Let's try to understand first. Until until it shows time. Okay, unless shows condition. Okay, until is used as a preposition also, preposition and conjunction. Okay, and unless strictly it is used as a conjunction. Okay, for example, I wrote I will wait until Monday. Okay, and second sentence I wrote I will wait until you come. Okay, now first one, I will wait until Monday. Here, until. After until, what is this? Noun. Okay, so here until is acting as a preposition. Okay, here and until is acting as a preposition. It will help you guys to understand the part of speech also. Okay, this I have already explained it in one of my sessions also. Okay, so here in the second one, I will wait until you come. Here you can see there are two clauses, I will wait and you come. Okay, so here until is doing what? As it is acting as a conjunction joining two clauses. What is conjunction? It joins two sentences or two phrases or two clauses. Okay, so here until is acting as a conjunction. Okay, unless means if not. Okay, inherently both until and unless means no, not. Okay, both gives negative meaning. Okay, so here in the first case I will wait until Monday. Okay, so after how did I recognize that it is here until is a preposition? Because here you see after until I can see the noun. Okay, so when after preposition noun or noun phrase will come. Okay, in that case, okay, there it will act as a preposition. But here you see here subject verb. Okay, so it is a clause. Subject verb together they make a clause. So here until is acting as a conjunction. I hope it is clear the difference between until and unless. Until shows time, unless shows condition, and it is strictly works as a conjunction, and unless means if not. Okay, for example, let's try to understand with the help of examples. I will wait until until or unless he comes. Okay, so what it will come here, I will wait until or unless he comes. So what we will use, it shows the time, right? I will wait until he comes. Here until means time, so it shows that it means that I will keep waiting till he comes. Okay, so it shows the time. Second one, you cannot you cannot pass the exam until or unless you work hard. You work hard. Okay, so here you see it shows the condition, right? As I told, unless, what it shows, condition. You cannot pass the exam until or unless you work hard. So what it will come, unless you, if you, so what it means, you cannot pass the exam if you do not work hard, right? If you do not, if not. Okay, so unless means if not. So or in unless, or what is the meaning of unless? If not, if you do not work hard you cannot pass the exam. Okay, third one, stay here stay here until or unless I return. Okay, now stay here until or unless I return. What it will come, until I come means you keep waiting till I come back. Okay, is it clear? Now let's do the last one. One can't succeed in life unless 1 hour 1 hour not punctual in one's work. No error. This type of question also comes especially in SSC banking exams. Okay, one cannot succeed in life unless 1 hour not punctual in one's work. So where is the error? Where is the error? I said unless means if not. So not will not come here. Okay, there is one error here. Okay, and there is one more error. Okay, unless one, what we will use with one is, right? So there are two errors here, also one error is there. Okay, so how should we solve? There are two errors, right, in two parts. So what should we do now? Unless 1 hour. Okay, so here what it should come, one is. Okay, and unless one is punctual. Okay, again not will not come here. So what we will do, how we will change, we will instead of changing, we cannot change both the parts, right? So what we will do, we will try to change only one part. Either we will change this part or we will change this part. Okay, so how can we write this sentence? Instead of changing both the parts, we will change our conjunction. Okay, one cannot succeed in life, I will put here if if I put if, so everything will be solved, right? We cannot here there are two errors, right, in two parts. So we cannot correct two parts, isn't it? So instead of that, I will correct only one part. How? I changed my conjunction. One cannot succeed in life if one is not punctual if in one's work. Okay, so I did all the correction in this part. Okay, so here I didn't change anything. I hope you're getting this one. Now let's try to understand rule number 11. Rule number 11, it says avoid using double comparatives and double superlatives. Okay, usually what we use comparative degree, right, for comparison. For example, I said he is smarter than his brother. Okay, so I used one comparative degree. So when I'm saying double comparative means we should not say more smarter. Okay, same way double superlative, we should not say most smartest. Okay, here there are two comparative degree, right? More is also comparative degree. Okay, what is the positive degree of more? Much. Okay, much, more, most. Okay, so this is a comparative degree, and smarter is also comparative degree. Smart, smarter, smartest. Okay, similarly most is the superlative. So there are two superlatives. We don't have to use two comparative degree or two superlative. It makes the sentence superfluous. Okay, so we should not be using two comparatives and two superlatives in a sentence. For example, I wrote he is more wiser than his brother. Than his brother. Okay, so here two comparatives are there. It is not needed. He is wiser than his brother. Okay, second one, she is the most smartest girl in the class. Girl in the class. Okay, now here again most smartest. No need to use two degrees, two superlatives. Okay, third one, I wrote she is the most intelligent intelligent girl in the class. Okay, so now you tell me, here should we put most or not? Here I said most smartest we should not put, but in this case should we put or not? Intelligent is a positive degree, isn't it? It is more than three syllables. Okay, so we how we make more intelligent, most intelligent. Okay, so this sentence is right. Okay, do not get confused. Here we removed most because smartest is itself, it is the highest degree. Okay, so do not get confused. This sentence is perfectly correct. Okay, most, we have to put most with intelligent. Okay, I hope it's clear. Let's do one more. That was the that was the most worst worst performance in the evening. In the evening. Now here, should we put most, worst, bad, worst? Okay, so we will not put most, but in this case we will put. Okay, I hope it's clear this rule. Now let's see rule number 12. rule number 12. Subject verb agreement with additional information. With additional information. Okay, but I will write it in here little bit of additional information. Okay, now when we add extra words, okay, when we add extra information, extra phrases, okay, in the sentence, for example, I said as well as, with, together with, along with, in addition to, okay, they are short phrases. Okay, when we add these phrases or extra information in a sentence, okay, so in that case verb will agree, with the main subject, with the main subject, not with these phrases. Okay, for example, I wrote Karan as well as his friends is or are going out. Okay, now Karan as well as, what did I use here? As well as. Okay, as I said, they are just extra words, okay, extra phrases in the sentence. Okay, it has no role in the sentence, they will not play any role in the sentence. Okay, so when we use as well as, together with, along with, in addition to, so in that case verb will agree with the main subject. Here the subject is Karan, not friends. We should not see friends here. Friends, it's plural, so most of the students, what they will do, they will see, okay, it's plural, so they will put are, but it is wrong. Okay, we need to see the real subject, which is Karan, and it is singular. Okay, so we will put is. Karan as well as his friends is going out. Okay, we will do few questions. Okay, the teachers with the principal, with the principal was or were present. Okay, now here the teachers. Okay, we need not to see this part. Okay, so the teachers, what it is, it is plural, hence we will put was, not we will put were, not was. Okay, third one, the sailors together with the captain, together with the captain, was or were drowned. Now what it will come here, what it will, the sailors, it is what, sailors, many, right, together with, we need not to see this part, with the captain were drowned. Okay, we will do one or two more. Maya, along with her family, along with her family and friends, family and friends is or are visiting the museum tomorrow. Okay. Now, Maya along with her family and friends. Now, some of you may get confused. Here there are two, right? Family and friends. So again, do not get confused, friends. So do not use are, okay? See, along with, whenever the sentence is joined with words like, together with, along with, in addition to, or as well as, okay? So we need to see always the first subject. Okay, so verb will agree with the first subject. Okay, so Maya along with her family, we need not to see this part. Maya is visiting. The information is all about the real subject, not about this part. So do not get confused with this part. Okay, now the last one, the captain along with along with the players is or are ready. Okay, the captain along with the players is or are ready. So again, we need not to see players. Okay, the captain, so we will use is. Okay, I hope it's clear. Now let's see rule number 13. There are certain noun. Okay, there are certain noun which are plural in nature. Okay, plural noun, and they take plural verb. Okay, for example, I wrote scissors, trousers. Okay, then spectacles, then cattle. Okay, for example, I wrote the scissors are sharp. Okay, or my trousers are dirty. My trousers are dirty. Now, some of you may think that, okay, my trousers are dirty. Why I am using plural verb? Because English, trouser means there are two parts into it, right? Scissor means there are two parts into it. Okay, so English will treat it as a two parts. Okay, though it is one. Even my specs, okay, it is, you may think that it is single, but it is specs. There are two parts, isn't it? One and two, there are two parts. Okay, so even with spectacles also we will use plural verb. Okay, same with cattle. Okay, so we will do few questions related to this. For example, I wrote spectacles is or are a costly item. Costly item. Okay. So as I said, spectacles, English will treat it as a plural. Okay. So what we will put? Are, not is. Do not get confused. It is, though it looks like singular. Okay. But English will treat it as a two parts. Okay. In trousers also, right side, left side, there are two parts. Okay. If I have to make it singular, okay. For example, I wrote a pair of spectacles is or are available. Okay, and I wrote another sentence, two pairs of spectacles is or are available. Okay, now here the subject is pair. Okay, here subject is not spectacles, like Here the subject was spectacles, but here the subject is pair, which is singular in nature. Okay, so what we will use is a pair of spectacles is available. Okay, but in this case, two pairs of spectacles. So here pairs is what? Plural, hence we will use are. Okay, is it clear? Now, the same rule applies for scissors also, trousers also. Okay, I wrote the cattle is or are grazing in the field. Okay, and second I wrote a herd of cattle, a herd of cattle. We will never write cattles. Okay, a herd of cattle is or are passing through the village. Through the village. Okay, cattle itself is a plural word. Okay, so that is why we will not write cattles. Okay, the cattle, I said it is a plural. Okay, it is a plural noun, so what we will use? Are. The cattle are grazing in the field. I hope it's clear. Now the second one, a herd of cattle. What is herd? Herd is a collective noun. Okay, herd is a collective noun and it takes singular verb. So what we will use is. Okay, do not get confused. Here the difference is, here cattle is a subject. Okay, here what is herd? It is a collective noun. So we need to see this and we need to use the verb. Okay, I hope it's clear. Now there are certain nouns. There are certain nouns which are singular and plural. It depends on the sentence. For example, police, mathematics, mathematics, economics, statistics. Okay, now police, when we say police, it is always in plural in nature. Okay, because police means a group of many people, many policemen will be there, right? So many people are there. That is why police is always plural in nature. How it will be singular, I will tell you that. Okay, for example, I wrote the police is or are investigating the case. Okay, so when I say the police is or are investigating the case, means it doesn't, when they are investigating the case means a team of members, right? A team, there will be one team, right? They will be investigating, not only one member will be investigating, right? A group of people will be investigating, right? So police will be always in plural. So the police are investigating the case. Okay, another one I wrote, the police the police is or are arriving soon. Okay, so what we will use? Are. I hope it's clear. Now I wrote another sentence. The police officer, okay, is or are investigating the case. Investigating the case. Here in this case, what it will be? As I told, there are certain nouns, they can be sometimes plural and sometimes it will be singular. Okay, now here I mentioned police officer. I mentioned here, okay, I didn't say police, okay, police officer. I am talking about one person, the police officer. So in this case, what we will use is, do not get confused that I told that police is plural, so you should put plural. No, in this case, I have put officer. So here it will take singular verb. Isn't it? Is it clear? Okay, now let's see few more sentences. I wrote mathematics is my favorite subject. Is my favorite subject. Okay. Another sentence I wrote, the mathematics of tax return is available. Is or are available. Okay, now here mathematics is my favorite subject. Okay, so when words now like mathematics, economics, statistics, when we are talking about as a subject, okay, when we are talking about them as a subject, in that case what we will use? Singular. Okay, it will take a singular verb. Mathematics is my favorite subject. Okay, but here in this case, the mathematics of tax return. Okay, so here mathematics, what is the meaning of mathematics over here? It means figure, data. Okay, so data is available. Okay, so we are here, the meaning is totally different. The mathematics of tax return, it will not take is are available. Okay, I hope it's clear. This is the last rule of the session. Okay, we will do one or two more sentences. For example, I wrote statistics is or are an interesting subject. Okay. Second, the statistics is or are alarming. Now, here statistics is or are an interesting subject. So here again I am talking about statistics as a subject. So what we will use is, it is an interesting subject. But the statistics is or are alarming. Here statistics means what? Data or some kind of figure. Okay. So the statistics are alarming. Okay. The last sentence, economics is or are difficult for me. Difficult for me. Okay. Now, the economics of the project is or are weak. Okay. Economics is or are difficult for me. Again, I am talking economics as a subject over here. So economics is difficult for me. Okay. Now the last one, the economics of the project is or are weak. Here economics is not used as a subject. It means again data or figure. Okay. So are weak, not is. Okay, so I hope it's clear. So till now we have seen many rules regarding subject verb agreement. So please tell me in the comment box how was today's session and what you want me to make video on. So do let me know in your in the comment box. So as I always say, if you are liking my sessions, please do like, share and subscribe to my channel. See you in the next session. Till then, keep practicing, keep learning. Bye bye and take very good care of yourself. Bye bye.